and it is for you when you find it. Out here in the woods, we are very grounded and we get a lot of input. And I've done all my things to connect. I also do personal readings, and we can do them on anything you want, by the way. But I like to do past, present, future readings, the Celtic spread. I like to do yes/no readings. All of those are very cost efficient. I have some more celestial readings that I do personally that are, I don't know if they're for everyone, but they're for me. I do a chakra balancing and cleansing tarot read, and I do yin yang or yin yang plus infinity, or the whole collective vibe spread, which includes those things, as well as the elemental influences for you right now. All right. And just taking in the sounds and the smells. And what I like about the campground is we're not completely cut off from, society. There's also kids playing on the playground and such. So for the first card, we get the Nine of Swords. I like to read the definitions because I think there's some things that for you personally might hit the spot, and I don't want you to miss anything that was meant for you. So the Nine of Swords tells us racing, torturous thoughts, sleepless nights, overdrive mind, nighttime terrors and distress, nightmares blur the lines between reality and dream time, passive aggression wreaking havoc on the mind, feelings of anger against the self and the mind racing out of control. Nine swords form a makeshift ladder above the bed. Will you escape, or will your feet be sliced to shreds? Temporary blindness will end if only you remove your hands. Peace will prevail by assuming the lotus position and allowing what is unneeded to slip away. Okay, this one falls perfectly for me today. I've been answering some questions online for people who have problems sleeping right now. We also have had problems sleeping, getting up several hours after we get up, maybe about 4, and then waking up super early and trying to say, should I even try to go back to sleep or not? So whatever's going around collectively, it's bringing us a lot of sleeping problems. And so my advice and recommendations for you, just like I advised earlier, are I don't like pills, but some people will take melatonin. That's not my thing. Medicine doesn't seem to work like that in me, not very long term. Yes, it might help me fall asleep, but it doesn't last for me. So it's because of these racing thoughts, just like the card was talking about. And spiritually, that just means a lot's coming through right now. And so you're not able to really fully go into sleep state because you're recognizing the messages instead. And so I would advise to turn on, either in the background or on headphones, do some binaural beats. Binaural beats, I always have trouble saying that, with the isochronic tones. And pick one that's good for you, that you really like, that has the melodic sound in the background. I like the tribal music the best. I feel like that's helpful, because what this is going to do, it's going to keep your thinking mind occupied with the variances and the changes, but that steady tribal, like the drums and the bass, or the frequencies. There's more than one frequency at play here, and so those they'll balance it out, because your subconscious mind will also stay busy, and this is very helpful for most. It's helpful for us. And then I also considered things like the colors around you. So blues are wonderful, especially if they're grayish tinted in tones. And this is from the clothes that you're wearing to the bedding that you're choosing, the color of your pillow case and your blanket, as well as in the room that you're sleeping in on the walls. So let's say you're having trouble sleeping in one room and you're not really sure why. Since all of this is going around, I would absolutely recommend just try to sleep in a different room. Why not? Like, we're camping just for a change up. And so that's very nice. And one of the things about the camping experience is the sounds and the smells. And when it's quiet at night, you hear, and it's just like the frequencies with the sound technology, the sound of the insects. And that's when there's no cars driving by and it's quiet and the stars are above you. Think of when you sleep well on a rainy day. It's kind of the same, but you'll hear the sounds of the insects, and it's steady, and so it'll occupy the different parts of your brain and help you sleep a lot. I know a lot about nursing. I went to nursing school, and that was back in 2001. But nutrition was one of my favorite classes, along with like the physiology behind all of that. And so for that suggestion, for us people who don't like to put a lot of things into our body, I would suggest drinking a glass of milk and eating a banana and maybe like half of a peanut butter sandwich on one piece of wheat bread, because this is there's that tryptophan, which is in the, like, turkey. We all know about Thanksgiving. Same kind of deal there, but it's then you've got some things in there that will maintain your blood sugar levels, so there won't be peaking going on, so you won't wake up 4 hours after you fall asleep if you ingest the right stuff before you lay down. And so half an hour before you lay down, eat these things, sit quietly and meditate to these deep sleep frequencies and sounds. And if it's still a problem for you, then I would recommend, by all means, to use sleep hypnosis, because these people are trained and they can put you into a state where you're going to be more open to what they're saying, and it'll help you fall asleep at night. So I know everybody's really suffering from this a lot right now, on and off, as we're going through all of these changes right now collectively because of the portals still being open. It's not done yet. We're kind of waiting that out, but at least it's not a Mercury retrograde. And Charon's not so nice either, apparently. He's gonna make us work through some things, but that planet. But okay, next we get the Queen of Pentacles, and this is in reverse. And it's a Queen, so I'll pull another card too. Okay, so there's a little bit of wind these last couple days, and it's pulling up the allergens, and I think many of us suffer from allergies, but it's not overwhelming like it used to be in the past, but it does affect us a little bit. So we sort of have to just, work with it. And when this is going on, what I do is drink water, more water, more water. I take a glass of water between anything else that I drink just during allergy season. I think that it's just helpful to get you're trying to flush your system. Wonderful advice there. Okay, so the Queen of Pentacles in reverse says, messy and sloppy. Now is a good time to employ organization and spatial clearing. It will aid you in all of your pursuits and goals. Take the focus off of yourself and place it on those closest around you. What I hear there is help others. What you're going through is going to take some time. It's not a bad thing. It's absolutely wonderful. But in the meantime, when we distract our minds and, just help anybody in need, or even just, hang out with them and think about something different, it's going to give our subconscious mind a chance to really get some of these messages and these things coming in, because we'll be preoccupied trying to, just being there for others. This four, the second card is the Four of Cups. And currently, what's moving through the collective, many of us are needing this advice here with these cards from our spiritual teams. So the Four of Cups talks about, well, here's the definition. Cups, cups, cups. cups. It's thinking cups. Yeah, here. This one's upright, and it says, an opportunity is right before you, yet you do not see it. Distraction, disappointment, and boredom. Buddha under the Bodhi tree, closed to emotional energy. It is impossible to see all of life's opportunities coming at you. Life offers sensory overload, yet it is good practice to remind oneself to stay open for unexpected and outside-the-box opportunities. Use this card's appearance as an opportunity to broaden your vision. Pleasure and possibility is yours to be had. Will you claim it? And it's ironic because I was just saying distract yourself a little bit. Well, this is advising to not distract yourself too much. And it kind of goes the right way here because it's saying don't spend all your time meditating, because if you think that that's going to help you and that's what you've been doing, you need some other people. Absolutely. But the first card also talked about the lotus position and realizing all of these swords. So it also talks about, like, in my opinion, I think that it's that Buddhist stuff which just came up here as well, right? What we need to do right now is balance our time. So yes, do your meditations, but it's not going to solve everything for you right now because you need the distraction, but you need to get it through or with other people, but don't take too much time with those other people. You also need the time to have your meditations and get your messages that way too. Because once you get them in meditation, you need to work through them. And if you're focusing on trying to work past a problem, sometimes it's hard to get past that problem. So do utilize this time right now here, and it makes sense with other people that need you. So split that up to get the best bang for your buck. Spirit needs you to know that. Okay, so finally, and this card's the same, we get the Four of Swords. So it started with swords and ends with swords, but this is kind of good because in the beginning, there's 9 swords here. In the end, after you work with this and understand these principles as well, you've got your 4 swords. This card, it is, I always like the chakra aspect here, and it's like laying in a bed and meditating. So it's leading towards in your life this, let's read it right here. Currently, just in the next few weeks or so, or whenever this message finds you, because it found you for a reason. 4 of Swords here says, and this one in reverse, the meanings are similar, not exactly opposite. When that happens, it's sort of more of the meaning's a little bit less profound, but the numbers stand, that's for sure. And we have 2 4s and a 9 so far. Alright, so in reverse, it's talking about an unstable mind. It says not trusting your ability to calculate what is happening. It says unable to act, need for calm and restorative space to gather your thoughts. I can fully pull this into what I was just saying because your mind's telling you a lot of new information, and so it's hard to process and like live a certain way, especially if you're around a lot of other people who don't have the same opinions or who aren't on the same spot in their spiritual progression or who aren't even progressing at all. So you can't just go around telling them everything that you're learning or all the things that are being shown to you, because they're not really going to understand. And so it's almost saying appease them, spend time with them, hang out with them. Don't, you have to fulfill those obligations as well. But yes, take your time to do. So the first card's saying don't spend all your time doing your stuff, because nobody else understands that yet. And it's by spending time with them, that you kind of come to these other conclusions and thoughts. And then with this here, you can steady your mind and stable it and process it. And then you when you do take your alone time, because it says need for calm and restorative space, you can really gather your thoughts. Now, if you were spending all your time alone trying to force it, it wouldn't come out the way that it needs to in your brain. You wouldn't process it right. You'd be forcing it and pushing it like like all of those power of positive thinking and the way to manifest things. It's like they say, release it, let it go, stop thinking about it. And you can kind of do that when you're with other people. And then when you go back or you get your alone time, you could process it. And you're actually so much learning from everybody around you all of the time. Just, I feel like you're put around the people in your life that are teaching you what you need to know. And so if you shut yourself off and do too much of your own stuff or try and change them or talk to them, it blocks you. So it is that release right there. And you realize it from having spent time with them internally and through them. And then when you are alone, it's much more effective for you. So this is what Spirit needs you to hear right now. I'm going to pull quick cards, and these ones we're going to go by. This is the Crowley deck, and I'm going to pull until we get 3 words on the cards. Because for each of the suits, it just gives us words. And we'll kind of put that into play. I'll keep this message short. If and when you purchase a personal reading, it's going to take some time if you want it to. Because I really like to get to know you and help and share and learn from you, myself, as much as we can. Okay, so this is not a card like that, but it is Princess of Discs. So I'm going to set that one off to the side because it's sort of important to us here. And I think what I'll do is the same format as I did before. I think this time I'll pull from the bottoms of each of these piles. So this is what we get here. We get virtue. We get failure. And we get sorrow. Okay? I'm seeing a message here. And the virtue card is the 3 of Wands. So, it talks about establishing strength. And I feel like with we were saying with this one, you can't just go. It's keeping you up at night because you're moving too fast, you're progressing too fast, and you're trying too hard to either tell other people or be in that state of learning in all the times. And so you've established some strength, so this is very important to you with this virtue card. So it's a success that you've earned after struggling, and so you have pride and you're a little bit arrogant. You are realizing that there's some hope, and you're a little conceited. Okay, everybody else isn't really going to understand that quite yet. That with this one, we had the Queen of Pentacles and 4 of Cups here. So this one is followed up with the 7 of Discs, and it talks about failure. Okay. Quickly, it says unfinished work, unprofitable speculation. When you're spending time with these others, like it's advising you to do with the reverse Queen of Pentacles, you're thinking to yourself this whole time, but I can't, I have unfinished work. I don't want to fail. It talks about unprofitable speculation, so you might not be profiting from this. People might not really be understanding what you're saying or trying to have your back. It talks about unmet goals, so spending time with them if you feel like, but I can't or I won't meet my goals because you have a lot by now. And it feels like you're deceiving yourself with hope. It's like you got that hope, like the last card said, but if you don't utilize it now, see, that talks about pushing too hard. You need to take your time, because if you do not, you're going to have disappointment, and this is the key part here, little gain from much effort. If you do it all on your own or spend all your time doing this, we still need the other people because they're following later on, and they need to be exposed a little bit, and we need to still learn from them because of the right people are being put in front of us. It says delayed growth and honorable undertakings. So just because you're having some honorable undertakings, when you're trying to do it all your stuff all the time and not spending time with them, it's actually going to delay your growth here. So you just need to really balance And, you know, I mean, you've already picked your cup, so this is the second card that was following that. If you don't want failure, you can't. You're being snotty about these ones wanting to spend time with you also, but you have to do it. But not all of your time, because the end of this Four of Cups had said, make sure you're needing some time alone. They kind of all say the same things, which is so crazy in a great, wonderful, weird way. I do what I do because I'm good at it. I pull what needs to be pulled for a reason. Right. And then, like with the last one, that Four of Swords, I really was pointing out that there was 9 swords here, and you're like 5 of them get tackled completely. And it's from splitting it up and not just forcing it that this happens over here. And it does end up resulting in you do need, so I mean, to spend some of that time in meditating and things like that, and just resting with it and thinking about it. This one's in reverse, actually. But this Sorrow card, number 3, is the last card here. It's also a sword. So this is the 3 of Swords. So this one started with a 3 and ended with a 3, and there's a 7 in the middle. So the 7 being the opposite or the different number, it's saying you don't want that failure. Okay? Yes, you've earned virtue, but don't get the failure. Take the advice from the cards up here, because 3 of Swords tells us next that 3. Sorrow, melancholy, unhappiness, tears, disruption, discord, delay, absence, separation, deceit, faith, and honesty. And what I'm seeing and sensing, and what I feel like you need to know from this card here, is that going through these emotions, feeling sorry and melancholy for yourself, and then I'm going to block it. Like then because when you're with everybody else, it causes unhappiness and tears. It's disrupting what you want to do and creating discord within you, and you fear that it's causing a delay. Well, we're going to block it right after that discord, because right there, it's actually causing delay. Going through each of those emotions with the other people is what's actually causing your progression. But that's causing you to take a little bit of a leave of absence, and separate yourself at times. But it is only through experiencing these things with them that you're actually able to fully learn the things being sent to you, okay? And it feels like you're being deceived, like, and because you have faith, or you're deceiving your cause or your purpose, or they even are deceiving you. But these things are all pushing you by balancing it and getting the full spectrum. And it just makes you have more faith in everything that you're doing, because you can see how much more honest you are than them. And that's pretty great advice right there to back that up and end this reading off, and let you guys get back to living your life and spending time with others, but not too much time. I'm going to use the Luminous Spirit deck, and that one here is just going to shine quick light. Oh, actually, before I do that, I had pulled that Princess of Discs. Let's consider that us here right now during this reading, this message. Let's see how we pull her in. Princess of Discs is the earthy part of Earth. How wonderful and perfect, because I'm getting this here. And I mentioned it before I even started. We're not too far away from people, but we're back here in the woods, so we still hear them. But we're grounding, and we're hearing all of the nature around us. And the messages come through a little bit more. So if there's any chances that you can spend time in nature in any way, even if it's temporary, just for a walk or whatever, I recommend everybody have a dog, because not only are dogs wonderful companions that are loyal, and a child to take care of that loves you completely and fully no matter what, and will never leave your side. They also pull in the family. They pull in the people that you meet. They pull in the animals around you. They are also angels. I don't want to sound too much information. Travis breathed at that. But from what I have witnessed and understand, my dog is a healer. But also spirits can sort of work through them to pass along some messages. Just like when somebody says, "Well, I saw this and it was a spiritual um, message for me." Or I saw a blue feather today, by the way, and a grayish black one, and a white one. So I believe in all of that. I believe in the numbers, the messages this way also. So you want to further your spiritual progression and at the same time form a longing bond with your pet and family and everyone, then I recommend get a dog, because a lot can come through them. They're a vessel that at times is more open because they're not bogged down with thoughts and ideas, and so the spirits around can work through them. Okay, Princess of Discs, back to the earthy part of Earth. It says, a young woman, beautiful and strong, pregnant with life. It says she is generous, kind, diligent, and benevolent. And she is influenced by, wasteful, and at war with her essential dignity. So this to me, in a very quick sentence to explain it, is always warning me that sometimes when we're very grounded and we're in our state of zen and connected with source, that we can be a little bit too generous, and it being influenced by the wasteful aspect pulls that in over here, where it's like they don't care anyways because of their reactions. We think that it was wasteful, but it's not. They don't communicate as efficiently as us. They don't say the words they mean when they speak. They don't even understand why they. I just noticed, like, around everybody, I feel like they come up to you and they speak to you, and with words they tell you what's bothering them, or they tell you their secrets, and they don't even know it. Like, I'm doing this because of this. Well, I know so much more about a person just because they said whatever the specifics are, and I don't want to, like, say too much because I feel like I'm not judging them, though. Like, he just told us that, and she just said that, and that's what's going on over there. We're starting to notice these things, and they don't even know it yet. They don't actually know that that's why they said the stuff, or why they use the body language, and we're starting to know that. So the more and more we're learning, and the more and more that we're connecting, it's probably getting a little more difficult for some to be around others. And then let me tell you, as this progresses, it's easier and easier. But you do have to stay close to the rest of us, because when you're trying to explain that to somebody, even if you think it's somebody very close, it's sometimes they're not going to get it. Like, and they would if they could. They just don't know or realize certain things. And so it's very nice to have our groups and to have our sites and the people we watch on YouTube, because the way this works is that you're lined up based on all of these algorithms through the guidance with the divine assistance to find exactly what you need to find when you find it. And many times it does take you to places that, like, almost anger you, and it's pushing you. But so many other times it heals your soul. You say, oh, thank God. And even if it's just putting a comment onto one of these readings, or reading some other stuff that other people said, the information finds you when it needs to find you. So sometimes it's even several days later that you realize, oh my God, I just put all that together, and they're all getting the same thing as me, or they all understand what I understood. So please stay connected, and that could fall back into these middle cards here, not just with your family and friends, but also very much so with the rest of us, because we're working together. each other, connecting with the vortex and source. So, I'm going to pull that middle card, or like a middle area card here. Six of Swords in reverse. Let's shine in a little bit of light. Ace of Swords in reverse, and this is a lot of swords. Wowzers, so lots is being done here. And these ones are all in reverse. With this deck, I don't do them in reverse. Not too often. My phone's messed up. There we go. Let's go here. Always allow. You know, I had to fix that twice. So I'm going to do it in reverse. Six of Swords. It tells us very quickly in reverse on this awesome app that goes with the deck. Do not carry emotional baggage around with you when you communicate with us or them. Your unresolved issues will be resolving themselves, and that's just part of resisting the transition, and that comes. So that patience thing, just have faith and trust the universe to balance it out and align you where you need to be, because it might seem really bad right now or yesterday or whenever it was, but it gets better. Then we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. There. It has to create some confusion and brutality within you, your thought processes and chaos in the world around you, because that's how it's going to help you the most. And Queen of Wands. Go up here to my wand. She says, also in reverse, selfishness, because no matter how much we try and evolve and know, even if we're trying to be selfish and do our thing, to knock a lot of that stuff out of inside of us, including our egoic stuff, even when we think that we've mastered it, it comes back around. We have to continuously balance and continuously take good care of ourselves, do our chakra work, do our meditations. Meditation is where it's at. I feel like I meditate all of the time, especially when I'm trying to lay down at night, and then it's during that time. It's like I don't want to sleep so much right away, because I'm really enjoying what I'm experiencing within, and what the growth in the places that I'm going in my meditation. So, I eventually fall asleep, but then for me it's not 4 hours later so much right now, as it was several years ago, but it's early in the morning. I wake up and I'm also in a meditative state at this point in time, and when that's going on, I'm like, I just want to get up so I can use my mind some more and figure out what I learned last night in my sleep. Okay, this one talks about jealousy. So I feel like every person in the collective is being pushed, and from what I've heard and the people that I've talked to really work through these jealousy issues. And so those are the toughest ones. They make us not want to be around any other people, and a lot of us haven't been. I have, actually, more so than usual, but at a distance. But it's just because of the nature of our life and our existence and our job specifically. But I remember back before this happened for me, I think a lot of people, like a lot of you guys, just everybody in the world's going through what I was going through back then. Like, I'm not a jealous person, I don't really care at all. But then I'd be forced into these situations where it was pushing me and making me really have to go through that. And I would just shut myself off, but I couldn't be in my own place, and I would just be like doing all this stuff instead. And so, because that was like hell, to feel like certain, well, I don't get a home, and I can't, cook a meal tonight, or because we were traveling and I can't do all these things, and I was jealous. So it was creating some of that chaos from the last card that was making me really have to work through stuff. So a lot of the worst emotions, the things that feel the worst, are the ones that push us more than anything. And just bear with it. It will pass. And it does have to get really bad, because we're selfish as humans, and that's what it's getting rid of. It's unnecessary. Do not be insecure, because that's the last keyword here. And these insecurities, as we evolve, ascend, and really understand that you feel like that because you're different from them, and you probably always have been. And it makes you feel like you're not good enough, or like sometimes you think you're better, or sometimes you think that they're better, and you just don't understand why you never were like anybody else. This passes with time. It's slowly getting worked out, and it's not you, and it's not me, and it wasn't me then, or you in the whenever any of this stuff comes up in your life. It's a collective consciousness that we are working through these things together collectively. So it's being pulled from this area, it's being pulled from this city. The vibe is that there, and with us traveling, it would seem like it would change from like the different places that we'd go. And I just loved being out west because it's like a lot more beings that are okay with who they are, and on the scale of enlightenment, that are a little bit more easygoing, and they're not judging and blaming everybody else. But we can't all be in the same place. So this is moving, it's changing, and it's going to be everywhere. We're all going to understand each other more, and we're going to all be using these new senses and feelings. And so if you don't live in an area where it's like that, it doesn't matter. It's coming in time, and you being forced to feel these feelings because you are a light worker is happening for a reason, because you are changing the place. You're helping and changing the people around you, and sometimes that's just by being there and not even doing a thing. So when you are able to find people that are like you, or people that make you feel good, it changes the environment. It changes the energetic frequencies around you. It spreads. It's spreading like wildfire. Haha. West joke. Because they do have a lot of fires out there, right? Quickly to end off this reading, there was two cards that had not got put over when I spread my decks out. So we're going to look really quickly. This is some very important stuff from Spirit that it was meant for us to see as well. So to end up our reading, we get the moon in reverse. And so it's talking about so the moon, though she can inspire vivid dreams. That's funny because the first card was about people not being able to sleep well, and this is really a problem these days, specifically at the end of August, or this beginning of the end of August. It's the 18th, but it is also important if you find this at a different time. So it says that it can inspire vivid dreams and heighten our intuition, but she can also lead us into deception and trickery. So what I feel like is that we think we're being deceived and tricked by the other people, but really it's the stuff that's happening while we're sleeping that's causing us to not want to go back to sleep, because it's trying to push us through the stuff. And since we're not learning it when we're like, okay, I don't want to go back to sleep because, or I'm trying to, but I can't. It's going to be brought in from the people around you in your day, and you're going to have to learn it anyways. So it says, under the dark of the night, even our most surreal of fantasies can seem real. So we're questioning at night. It says, be vigilant and question how you perceive things. So it's all within you, always. And these phantoms are what is leading you astray. So you're recognizing that in other people throughout the daytime, the stuff that you kind of can't live with about yourself. And that's why it's irking you. But you need to feel these feelings. You need to go through these emotions, because you're healing the world. That bad stuff passes, and it's only being put to you because you're worth it. So next we have the Five of Cups. And she is saying, I call her she. This one talks about loss and grief and disappointment. So there's going to be many periods of this happening. It talks about signaling, the Five of Cups signals loss in some manner. And it does. It feels like we're losing them, or like you think maybe even losing yourself, because you can't be like them. But they're going to catch up, okay? So what you lost may be tangible or intangible. So it's feelings with them, and also like what it was that was your life goal before, what it was that were your dreams and aspirations, how it was that you spent your life. I mean, there's a plague going on, geez, or whatever. A lot of things are changing, and we're dealing with many losses in different ways. I mean, it changes the world when people can't be next to each other all the time. Okay, so, and you're dealing with all the feelings that are associated with this loss, and you're working through them with the help of the universe. So, this regret and disappointment and grief, there's nothing we can do about it. We cannot go back in time and make 9/11 not have happened. Or, I'm sorry, that would work for my generation. I can't say that for everybody. That was one that was a big one that changed us. But then for these younger generations, you cannot go back, and we cannot either go back into time and get rid of COVID-19. It's never going to have not happened. There's no way to wipe that from our memories or the feelings we experienced and the things that it put us all through and that we're still going through. And we still don't know what's going to happen. So this is a huge reason why it's forcing us to really have to think about it. But this card tells you that in time you will notice that, though, that some of the cups are overturned, that there are two that are still salvageable. So, I mean, I get fully that this basically is saying it's like a purge. Like collectively, everyone's purging some things that really were not healthy for us or our planet. And it says, do not hold on to something that must go. Something that you can't change is what I feel there. For that is the source of all the suffering. And we can't get that time back, and we can't get the world to be regular back. So acceptance, it says acceptance and working with what you have will give you peace. And this is for all of us and for everyone in existence in 2020. I talked longer than I had expected to, and I'm very sorry about that. And I'm sorry about my camping hairdo. Right, but it's so great to be out here in nature, but still close enough that we're not all alone. I advise everybody to do the same in your way, whatever works and fits for you in your life. All right, so much love for you. And if we stay grateful and if we stay thankful, then we're all blessed collectively. Email me at em3dj3 if you would like a personal reading for yourself. And follow me on all of my social media sites. They're all listed below. All right. I hope you have a blessed sleep tonight. Rest well. For once, finally. I hope it's solid. Listen to that music I was telling you about. Those sound frequencies are not a joke. I can tell you from experience. It even works on our dog. Love you guys. Later on. Namaste.